That's right, I'm here once again. And let's continue where we left off. With coffee and with some... I think we'll do some logic today. Because the model we did the model yesterday, it's not done at all, and we need more features and all that, as I talked about, but let's see if we can make it work today. And also that issue with the fuses and all that, we will look into that later. It's not a huge problem right now. So welcome everybody. Oh, Racing Man only, apparently. A little stream comment. It's so freaking annoying. I want to multi-stream, and I stream to YouTube and Twitch. On YouTube, when you set the bitrate to 7500, you get a warning saying the stream bitrate is a bit low, buddy. On Twitch, when it's above 7500, it's not working. You cannot stream. It's just doing some kind of error thing. Hello, Kelsa. Hello, Ryan and Racing Man. Making pizza. Oh, lovely. We should have soup today, I think. So it's really annoying. I'm stuck in a multi-stream bitrate thingy. I could, of course, set up some... I think you can set up some multi-streaming inside OBS, so I'm sending a higher bitrate, one stream to YouTube and another stream to Twitch. But it's too complicated. I don't want to spend time on that. So I'm just using Restream, the service, restream.com or IO or whatever it's called, and just have these two destinations. But it's then sending the same stream to both, and then we have the problem. So on YouTube, you will have to deal with me being in a little lower bitrate today. I could also lower the resolution, but I refuse to do that. 1440 is the way to go. Because it's the native resolution of my screen. So everything is just better like that. Yeah, which picture are you making, Kilzang? I know it's kind of a war thing, but I actually like pizza with the pineapple on. Ham, salami, mozzarella, gouda, corn, and now the virtual part. Pineapple, exactly, pineapple. Woo! That's good. I like it too. But it's... either you like it or you don't, I guess. Pineapple wall. Okay, but if you... by the way, I should also... Yes, my zooming is working again. Whoa! So I can do some interesting stream now with where I move around. Boom, boom. And I zoom and everything. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Anyway, so remember from yesterday, I shouldn't click this one. I should click this one. Oh yeah, we also need a... And that's actually an annoying thing. Let me see here. Let's create a preview front. These preview generations. Oh, I'm not a fan. It's still too annoying to do. It's still too weird. Let's see back here. It looks weird anyway. I just wanted to have some kind of... Yeah, that it doesn't look great, but it looks like something. So let me just do like this, and let me do like this, and then let's do this one, just to get a picture on, or a thumbnail on it. And here we have this one. Okay, that's fine. So we have a thumbnail on the little thingy inside the game. Anyway, that's models. We don't want to look there. We want to look at the prefabs, which are here. So this one. So remember, we have this firing system receiver behavior over here. And right now it have one electric fuse and some UI thing. By the way, we could actually also, I think we could actually do something with the UI. The UI shows the, and that's another thing. I think it's turning the wrong way. I think I might have to rotate it. Yeah, okay. Anyway, let's see here. It's not 100% as it should, but it's just to have something. Oops. Because eventually there will be some kind of little display or something that can show some information. I could also put it up here actually, but anyway, now we'll just put it here. And just to annoy people, we'll just put it a little to the side so it's not in the middle. Anyway, that's not the most important thing. The important thing is that it only have one firing of one fuse, which is the first one. We placed more yesterday, but it's only the first one that's working because they only have one. So let's see if we can change the script to support multiple firing the electric fuses. Let's see. So, one easy way to do it is to do like this, and then it's an array, meaning it's a list of fuses. So let's change it to electric fuses, and then we have to initials. Okay, and then we changed it from being one to being a list of fuses. So stuff will break now because we cannot just take the savable entity. Oh, hello, Trolley Play. Welcome, thank you for the following. I don't know, I should actually make these notifications some fireworks stuff maybe. I just had that, what is his name? I can't remember. Charleston? Something like that. From an 80s, 90s TV show that I didn't even watch that much really, but I liked the song, so that's just but anyway, so we cannot use the we can do some other check here. Maybe let's do a check that it actually have minimum state check. Yes, exactly. Oh, this is AI in the works. It just the length needs to be bigger. No, else it's saying at least one firing fuse is required on this one. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to put in there, and AI just guessed that. So we know things will fail if we don't have fuses, or if we don't have any fuses in the list, so I need to have one. That also means that I can assume that there is one at the first wait a second. So the fuses are let me see, because we need to do it in a little different way. I think we need to do it similar to the mortars. Mortars, because the mortars have the same. It's only, why don't I have a? I don't have a rack natively in the game, but the rack is the same thing where we have multiple fuses inside one thing, basically one entity. Let's see, where do we have that samples here? So we have the prefab here, we have this one So unwrap views. My fuse position. How is it that I'm doing this? So we have the mortar, top, bottom, diameter, unwrap fuse. That's this one. I can't remember how I'm doing that. So that's the mortar tube. Let's have this. Okay. It's yeah, okay, so I think I can just set it to, okay, so all of them, yeah, okay. So I think I need to run through all of them and then set this for it to work. And yeah, we also need to do that exactly. So let's say here, so we need to set the savable, we don't have to do that. Especially some internal stuff that I need to set, and I wish I could figure out a way to do this a little simpler, but yeah, I don't know how I can do it. There is this kind of double references because we need to have that blueprint support. Yeah, it's hard to explain. There is this kind of double thing where it needs to have a reference back and forth. And I cannot really find a way to do that simpler. But what is it that I can't even remember? What is it that this is used for? Oh yeah. It's when it's saving data, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's because when saving, maybe I don't know if I can do that in a better way, but it's when saving a fuse connection. The fuse connection needs to know the ID of each end of the fuse connection, and to find these fuse connection ends, it needs to know what object or what entity that fuse is connected to, because the individual fuses is not unique. If that makes sense. Doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. Anyway, let's not dive more into that. So let's see. So that's hand. So we initialize this savable. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Maybe we are actually initializing the fuses here, really. Initialize electric fuses, yes, because it's setting up this and the index. And the index is also important. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. But let me see, I cannot remember if we go for a... Okay, we go for a zero-based indexing. Okay, that's fine. Arrays is always starting with 0, but Anyway, so now we have initialized that. All the fuses have an index, and all the fuses have a savable. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, okay. So here, so when we receive a fire signal from the controller, we shouldn't just ignite that single fuse. We should really ignite all the ones we have. No, that's not what we should. No, that's not what we should. What we should channel Q index. Yes. No, that's not what we want to do, because we need the box to be, each fuse needs to be its own index, of course. So yeah, my bad. So what we need to do is, instead of igniting one fuse, we actually need to ignite the one coming in here in the Q index. So if fuses length is less than Q index, so if we have it here, so if the length is less than this one, so let's say this is 5 and it is 5 here, so it's so the Q index will be 4 and then it would be 5 and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, that should be fine. Instant ignite. So we should trigger the fuse with that index of the Q. We can look into if we can do some, yeah, so that's, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, okay, that's fine. Get fuse. There we have some other thing we do on the motor. How is it you're doing that? Motor 2, we have some get fuse stuff. Get fuse thing. So guess that two. Yes, but what if about get fuse? I can't remember what is that. Let me think a little here. So that's the mortar tube that have one fuse. Oh, I don't think we can do it as simple. Maybe we need to have another component. Let me think for a while, just a second. So that's water two. Hello, Truxy. Hello, Elmo. Hello, Berto. Yeah, sorry, it's a little stream, just me, thinking, basically. No, but I'm trying to solve the problem of, but it's hard to explain. It's because the firing system receiver behavior has so far only had one electric fuse point. And now I'm trying to change it to have multiple, and it's not as easy because changing from one to many, do some changes. For instance, the receiver behavior I have a fuse interface, which basically says that it needs to have a method called getFuse that return one fuse. But this one have multiple now, so I can't do that this way. Let me see where it is used. So the use serial mortar too, so we not use stats. And then it's also used in the fuse connection. It's used in the fuse connection, so have fuse. I have fuse. Okay, maybe we can. Okay. Wait a second. I'm not. I'm not sure this will work, but let's try something. So what if we give this interface on this one? I have fuse. Now, in the mortar, I have this hierarchy of a mortar behavior that have one or more mortar tubes that then have a fuse. Where here I have a receiver behavior and then just fuses. I might miss this middle point, maybe, but let's see if I can fix it like this. So now I need to, I'm just fooling around here. I get fuse. Okay, so fuser, I can just return this because this is a fuse of itself. So I can do like that. So that's fine. So if I go here, and then I have fuse interface is only really used in the mortar thing. We don't want that. And then here and here and the fuse connection. Okay. It might work. So let's say we remove that interface, and then we remove this method. Don't need that. And connection point. This one really don't have a connection point either. That is also on the fuses, and it's used. Let's see. So I think we can actually also put this one on the electric fuse. I have fuse connection point. It already have that method, so we don't need that. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Let's try it. So we need to do some restoring data here to store this information, but for now let's just try and see if it works. So let's go back here. I like watching people program stuff so much. It helps me learn more too. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll try to share what that's I guess most people here are either interested in programming and just interested in how games work basically. Some stuff will be super complicated and you won't understand. I don't even understand everything. But as you say, Elmo, the more you watch, the more you learn. So I try to do when I stream, I of course try to say out loud what I'm thinking. However, sometimes I need the brain power just to think and not also have to think about speaking out loud. But I have been streaming for a long time now, not as much as I maybe should or could, but it is a little harder, of course. It is easier just sitting here by myself. Also, I can listen to my own music when I'm not streaming. I can listen to music that is a little more interesting than what we're hearing here, but it is kind of fun also to interact with you guys, and sometimes we have had that may happen many times where some of you say something that triggers something that solves a problem, so it's actually a win-win. Anyway, getting back, so we need to hook up now, because now we changed this one over here to have a list. So if we lock it here, we can now drag over, and I think actually we can do like this and then drag it over here, and I think it should put them in. Yes, exactly. So now when I click, can we see that? No, we cannot. If I click this one, this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could also rename it here so the numbers were more correct. Can we do like, no, okay, we cannot do like this. What? Okay. No, okay. Let me try again. So, and then we unlock here. So now we should actually have these 5 fuses, and each of them should be the queue. So maybe I'm just thinking, because now let me go a step back. Right now, I have downloaded a cracked version of the game. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. So you have a cracked version of the 9.2. That's interesting, because it's not even out yet. But you realize that downloading a cracked version is kind of stealing, right? You're watching me right now, spending time making the game, and then I don't know if you know it, but I sell the game on Steam. So I have to pay for stuff, and that's kind of hard if people are just downloading cracked versions. Yeah, even the beta version. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's another thing. Downloading cracked versions of game, not just my game, but any game, you are probably getting a lot of viruses and malware and stuff like that. But let me do it short. Buy the game, then you wouldn't have a problem. Then it would work. And if it doesn't work, then I would like to know. I don't really care about a cracked version, because it's not, most likely not even the same code as I wrote in the game, because somebody changed it to make it cracked. So good luck, high five. Jesus. Yeah, I know some people don't even think about it, but really, downloading a cracked version is stealing. So you just stole the game, and now you're asking the creator of the game to help you make it work. The one you stole. So try and walk into a store, take something from the shelf, just steal something, go out, and then go back in and say, this is not working as it should. I just stole it. It's not really working. And then see what they do. Jesus. Some people. Anyway, what I was about to say was that because I'm now changing the firing system, this firing system receiver behavior from 1 to many fuses, the way I just changed it, I cannot really make a single one work. I don't know if we actually need that, because as I explained yesterday, the way I was planning on doing this was kind of developing as I evolve it, because I have to figure out how this firing system should work well. So I would do a simple one, and more advanced, blah, 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 blah. But So I did the one you just saw, the other, I have this single one here. Oh, you cannot see. So I have this single one where you can click up and down and then change the queue number. So you have one for a specific queue. Again, the model will change, everything will change, but the idea of having a single one, I actually still like that idea. So I don't know if we actually need it or whatever, but I just feel like it makes sense to keep, to be honest. And I just broke that by doing this, because now, as I showed you before, the index in the queue here is kind of the index plus 1 is actually the queue number index. So, Q1 is this one, Q2 is this one, and that's the way you set it up. Anyway, I don't know if it makes sense. What I'm gonna do is that I think I will do a copy of this one, and then I will rename it, and then I will do some stuff. I will do another one. So let's so firing system receiver multi queue behavior. So let's take this one, and then I will. So we need this one. Now everything is broken, and then we need to go in here and then do like that. So now we have one behavior that is a multi-queue behavior, and then we have the other one. We can put that on this one. So we remove this one, and then we put the multi one on. Yeah, okay, fix compile errors. Great. Yeah, and then I will actually, because now the multi blah blah blah. Is this multi one? No, that's the behavior, and this is the multi queue one. Multi queue, yep, and this one. So now I will go in and I will revert the. I'll go in and I will revert the changes I've done to the script, so we get back to where is it? Not the fuse, this one. So we revert these changes. Again, the power of using a version control system. So I reverted the changes now. So now it's back to this. Actually, I can still remove these due to something else, most likely, but that's not important right now. So let's see. Okay, fair enough. Just do it internal. That. Whoops. So that's fine. I might redo some of this. So because no, I cannot. No, I can't. Yeah, there's not right now. I have some duplicated code that might not be too ideal. But anyway, I want to be able to support both at least for a while. So I have another script now. One script that can handle multi-queue and a single queue, and I will just rename the single queue one also, so we are no, I will actually put this on first. So we have the multi-queue behavior, put it up here, which I can't because it's not referencing. Okay, come on, boy. Let's see. Okay, and then we open up number 2 here, and then we can add. We can do that at the bottom. We can add the firing system receiver multi-queue. Boom, and then we go up here, take it to the top so we can see what's going on, and then we do the logging thing, and we do the fuses here, and we drag it over here. Boom. So now we have the fuses again. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. And then we need the text, blah, blah, blah. This one. Perfect. So now we have the firing system 2, which is the multi-queue. And then we should have the other one here, which is the single queue. And I will just rename single queue. And then we need to rename the script afterwards. So we will go in here. And then we rename this single queue. Let's see if built, yes. And then we go in here and we should see things are working here too. And now we can test, because now both should work. Again, I don't know if I need both, but I think it's fine to have the option to and now it might be, I might need to update here. So let's see, we have the single queue here, it's fine, this one and this one, yes. And we have the two, this one, blah, 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 and this one, perfect, boom, yes. Okay, here we go, let's try. That crack dialogue there, or discussion, Jesus. Okay, let's see here. I'll stay out of that for now. I'll just focus on this one. So let's see. Full screen, perfect. Yeah, it's a bit weird to it's weird and not okay to download cracked versions of games. It's even worse asking the creator or creators of the game for help, or the community for that matter. Anyway, let's see. So let's put up a, yeah, I need to, you can see it's spawn. I would like it to spawn like this, facing the camera. So I need to rotate it, but I can do that afterwards, no problem. Why is it lagging? Ah, it's because I'm streaming. Anyway, so let's see. Let's put this down here and let's do some stuff. Why is it so laggy? It's not actually low FPS. Okay, I guess it's just because I'm streaming, or because my computer has been on for like 15 hours or something like that. Anyway, so let's take this one and let's see. Okay, these show up, and as it was mentioned yesterday, of course they're too close. We need to find a way to fix that. What is interesting is if it works. And so that one that we see in here, we cannot use that for anything because it's really just showing an index that is not really. I need to change that. So now we should have. So we forget about this one. This I will of course do something so you can see that this is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5. So if I spawn the controller here, and again, this is, I kind of like this part where I have to have, you know, the thing physically in the game to click it or click buttons, but also you cannot see stuff you're doing. So I keep mentioning that, I know, but it's something that bugs me UX wise. Anyway, so when I click this one should go off. When I click this one should go off. So I'm kind of building up excitement here, and let's hope it's actually working. Let's see. Okay. It's not. Okay, let's try something else. Guess I'm missing something. Let's do here. Let's just do a rocket. That's quicker. So this is number one. So really now this one, number one, and this one, because that's number one, should go off. It doesn't, only this one. Okay, so there's a problem, but it's no problem. We will fix it. It's not failing. So, I think, no. Wait a second. Let's see. What? No, 2 didn't work either. No. Okay. So let's see. So let's see this one. No. No. Okay. Yeah, okay. Q index. Okay. Yes, that's the problem, I think. Let's put on some debugger so we can hopefully see what's going on here. So now the debug is attached. So now here where I put the breakpoint, when the code reaches this point, it will pause the game and I can see what these variables are holding. So let's see if this works. If I press 1, okay, so get in here. So this is basically the on fire signal received. So that's the method that is called when, you know, a firing signal is sent. And that is sending around a channel index and a Q index. So basically you're saying everything on channel 1 with Q index 1 should go off. So we check here if it's the same channel. You know, if the signal is the same channel as this receiver have, that is correct because they are both 1. So that is true. And we check if the Q index coming in is the same as the one that is saved in this Q index variable, which we don't need in this one, but I haven't removed that. But anyway, that should also be true. Yes. So we do get down here. So we follow the code here with the yellow line. So is this less than this? No. And therefore nothing happens because I'm an idiot. So let's see here. We can also actually we can fix this too now that we are at it. We will need to, right now the channel index is not synchronized via network variables. That's the network parting, the multiplayer thing. But we don't need this Q index variable in the multi-Q one because the Q index is given by the actual physical placement of the Q connection point. So let's try and remove this, and let's try and remove this, and remove this. We don't need these two, and this one actually we don't need to separate. We can do that. So for now, let's just comment out this one. It's just some logic around that. This one we can actually remove a lot of this. We don't need any of this. Update, we don't need that. We don't need to increase and decrease. And we can do this. This is the save and load, and we will do that in another way. So coming back here, so it's actually becoming a lot much simpler. So if the channel index is the same, so we can change this logic that is actually firing off this receiver. So if the channel index is the same as the channel index, the incoming channel index is the same as this receiver have, then we actually want to go in here, and then we want to check if the fuse length, the length of the array, because each first step in the array is Q1, 2, blah blah blah. So if length is no, we should do it opposite. If this one, so if this coming in is less than the fuse length, and here we have to, and now there's some learning, Elmo, because this is an array, so that's kind of a collection of things. So it's like with an index 0, 1, 2, 3, and an array always starts at 0. So that means if it have, so if the length is 5, there's 5 items in the list. The array is 5 long, but there is no 5 index, because it starts with 0. So it's like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a list of 5. So therefore, and when you start programming, and also once you're programming for a while, you can be fooling around with this, because you always have this edge case, because if the Q index is 5, which is actually the number of Qs we have in this receiver, the length, the index, the 5 index is actually 4. So therefore we can say if 4 is less than 5, then we should go. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, so the Q index sent in, if that is less You can also say less than equal, but you don't want to do it here because then it will say that the length is 5, and then it will say, okay, Q index 5 is okay, and then it will fail at this point because there is no index 5 in the array because it starts with 0. I'm not a teacher, but I hope it makes sense. Anyway, so Q index should be less than the length, and then we trigger the fuse at that index, and we trigger the instant fire, instant ignite. So let's try this one. Now it should work. And I will try and build up some excitement again by dancing. Woo. No, not out of coffee. I have a little bit. Yeah, and this is some, I think, maybe, I don't know why. Some Unity thing. Okay, Elmo says, what if you make a 3 times 2 grid, so 2 rows of 3? Yeah, we can do that. Then you can space them out more. Yeah, I will do that eventually. But for what I'm testing right now, it doesn't matter. I just need to be able to, see the different ones. But of course, it needs to be laid out more, first of all, more, aligned and more kind of spread out evenly and stuff like that. Look great. And we also need some other stuff on it, I guess. Okay, so let's see here. Let's make it full screen. Let's maybe not do so many this time. Just we do many. We wanna see it work, right? So, but maybe let's go with. I think we will go with rockets because they are quicker. And I could also not be an idiot, and then I could move this a little closer, so I don't have to go this far. So we can do like that, and then we can take 2 to this one, and then 3 and 4 and 5. So, okay, let's see. So when we press 1, this one should go off. When we press, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one should go. So let's take 1. See, that's the 0 problem again. You see? It's because I'm an idiot. 5 is not working because this is actually number 4. Okay, so it is actually working. But that index thing is... so what we have to do is that we have to... We could also just make it... Yeah. But basically what we need to do is that... the index coming in is the number you pressed. So that's... I want to fire off Q1. So that means that I need to subtract 1 from that. So when somebody's pressing 1, I need to actually fire off index 0 and so forth. I guess. Yes. Let's try again. Yeah, and I do errors all the time. That's how it is. I made my first real firework this week, at last, and it's awesome. This game. Oh, so you made with the mod tools and modding and all that? That's cool. Was it okay to, have you done any Unity stuff before or anything? I think I would just use the one connection receiver. Looks easier. Yeah, but yeah, you mean this one? Yeah, but that's why I have to it's hard to I think it's hard to figure out before I have it here. But Amnesty was very keen on having something with multiple connections like this. But let's see if it actually makes sense. What I don't like is this fuse thing going through here. But that is how the fuses are. They are just straight lines to it, so they will go through things. But yeah. Yeah, with motor and fireworks. Oh, that's cool. An arrow from cake and I'll show where it goes. Make sure call and aim when it goes. I can put it really close to your cakes. Yeah, the single one. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's try. Now we have options at least. So let's try again. So we have. Let's take it up, and you can see here. I have also considered another thing. Again, as I said before, I really like having these physical thing in the game. So you spawn these things. But the downside of that is that, this is now floating here in the. Should I pick it up somehow so I can press it, or? Yeah, I can't figure out how that UX should work. Because I could also make it so that the controller is never a physical thing, but it's always a built-in thing. Kel'Thuzar, for instance. So like the controller is there is one, and that is the one in the game. And maybe it's something I pick here, or maybe it's something in here, or something like that. But there is some kind of UI for it, so I can go into some kind of firing mode, and then all the UI goes away, and there's only some firing UI or something like that. That is also an option. But then we lose this physical thing. But then we could just keep the physical sievers in the game. Anyway, let's test it out here. We need the logic anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's here or if it's UI. Anyway, so 1 should take this one, 2, 3, and so forth. So 1, boom. Yes. 2. And then I go 3 on my keyboard. And 4. So that works. So because I'm lazy, let me implement the blueprint stuff, because that's kind of annoying that I have to do that all the time. So when I capture stock tunic, so what do we need to do? Q index name. Now wait a second. Will that work on its own? That might actually already work, maybe, because I moved some of the things to the fuse. Oh, let me see. You get a keyboard for a controller, yeah. Fras, but you might have to be on mod.io to be able to do that. And I guess it's not here, unless it's this one. You cannot really it's a show. Okay, so it's not your mod. And you should, by the way, Kel'Thuzar, you should get that PC fixed soon. Take your time and install Windows. Reinstall. That's the way to go. Oops. See, let me try this. Oops, that was the wrong. So right now, of course, you cannot see the cues. We need to have some, just like we have the red 1 here, we need to have some kind of indication, you know, that this is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 blah. But let's try something. Let me try and spawn this one and then save it as a blueprint. And let's see if I can load it as a blueprint. Okay. Okay. I know. The problem is that this one have a wrong. And this is again this double connection. It's so freaking annoying. And this is actually easier to see here. So I have this prefab, which is the receiver 2, is the multi-queue one we have right now, which have some, well, that all fireworks in the game, or all entities in the game, if they need to be working in the blueprint, they need to have a savable entity component on it that tells this prefab what entity definition it came from. And the other way around, the entity definition also needs to know which prefab it needs to spawn when you spawn it. So there's this double reference back and forth. I tried to do some logic where I could just, what was it that I did in the first? I did some reference to itself, which was not working. So I had to, do it this way. I haven't found another way of doing it. Anyway, the problem is that this receiver 2 is pointing to the receiver 1. So we just need to do like this. So what this is doing is basically now the receiver 2, the multi one, knows that it comes from this multi-queue definition. That was a very complicated way of explaining that. Two PCs and Steam Deck. Yeah, I don't have an Xbox. I have a Switch and I have a PlayStation 5, and a Steam Deck actually. But I'm not really using them a lot. Let's try again. I think actually it might work now. Famous last words. And I think I said that 5 times in this stream already. But it do works. It do work. Okay, so now it's connected again. Let's try and save it. Let's try and load it. Oh, nope. Damn it. They all go to number 1. Okay, then we have to look at something here. So why is it going to number 1? I guess it's because it's. Let me see. Oops. So we have the firing receiver here. We have some saved location data. Shouldn't it? It should set the index. So here it should find. Let's try and do some debugging again. Because you can see here they are all connecting to the 1. When I reloaded it, they're all connecting to 1. So now they will go off like that. That's not what we want. So let's see, we have the here, and then let's reload it. And we get here. So we have found one. So what is the blah 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 blah? Find fuse. So we have the entity. That is the okay. That's the rocket. We don't want that. Strobing rocket. I'm looking at this found entity. You can see here the name down here. It's a strobe rocket. I'm just pressing F5 until I find something else. Okay, that's the receiver. So now we have the receiver here. So then we're looking for. I have fuse components, and it finds 5. That's good. Index 0, index 1, index 2. Okay, so they have all the right indexes. That's fine. So the fuse connection is not right somehow. So the fuse index here. Let's see. So that is the fuse connection. There we go. That's why we are always saving these as so the electric. Okay. So it's hard coded. The electrical fuse. Somebody didn't complete this. Because this is not true anymore. But really, it's just a matter of doing like this. It should just set the index of the actual fuse. That should be fine. Yeah, I think that's it. Now I have to save the blueprint again and then reload it, and then it should work. Really. But why is that a network thing? Oh yeah, okay, that's because it needs to. Why is this index actually a part of it? Why do I need to transfer this state here? I'm pretty sure I use this to send over network somewhere. Yeah. No. No, it's just an identifier. Yeah, I do. I send it over network. Why am I sending the index? Wait a second. Oh, yeah, okay. This is because, yeah, okay. Anyway, let's try again. In a way to remove a clear sky cloud for time. Yeah, as Kedusa says, there is this weather thing you can set to clear, but that is the most clear one. And that should actually remove all of the clouds. But it's only removing the enviro sky, which is the, the environment things here. These clouds are not going away. You can see these 3D model clouds that is slowly going around the city. You can see these ones. because they are part of the map. It's not a part of the weather system. So wait, let me change this to something else. So let's see. Come on. Oh, okay. It's hard to see which way is rotating. What? Anyway, so let's go for a little rocket. Boop, boop, boop. Like that, and then we go here and we do like this. Boom. Then we save again, and let's see. Let's also make it so. Let's save again. So now we should see. Let's hope. Please. Yes. Boom. So now you can start building shows, right? Because now I can do like this. Like this. I'm pressing 1 and 4 now, meaning I expect this one and this one to go off. 3, 2, 1. And then 2 and 3. And then we can just load it up again. And then we can go. See, now we're talking. This is good. Okay. And now this system can now extend, you know. Now I can just, again, there's a lot of model and a lot of other logic I have to do. But the core stuff is working. Let's try and place one here too. So let's try and say, let's say we want, over here, we want one of these. Then we have a single one here, and that's, we just do like this. So that's now, that's on 1. And then we do, what was it? What's this one? So we do a one over here. I really also have to do that favorite thing so we can have, you know, it's easier to get to the stuff you want. It's really annoying. It's not really annoying, but it could be easy, better if I just had stuff in some kind of favorite one. I can just pick between that. Anyway, it's on the to do. So now I have 1. And I have, maybe we should actually go with, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go with 6. And as I talked about yesterday, the button thing, I don't know how many were you here yesterday, but the stuff about pressing a button should be nice. Listen to this. Huh? No. Ah, it's nice. Maybe it's just me, but it's just, I just think it's nice. And also that blue thing, blur thing. Okay, so good. 6 and 6. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Let's save it. Boom. So now I can actually press 6 first, and then these should go off. Boom. And then I can press 2, 3, 1, and 4. Okay. And then I can load it up again. And then I can go a distance, and then I can use my keyboard to say number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, now it starts to be kind of useful. What happens if you have 2? Just add some sorting. If I have 2 of what? Setting yellow, thank you. Yeah, it came a long way. I also been working. It's been out for like almost. I think this year is it's 5 years since it came out, but a lot have happened. Yeah, that's for sure. So what are you saying, Kelsusar? Yeah, and also filters and search and a favorite thing. Yeah, we need that. Receivers. Oh yeah, so yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do that. But that will work. Famous last words. So let's do another receiver here. Let's do this one here. So So how do you want to connect it? Should we connect them to just to Q1 or? Yeah, 5 years. It's crazy. So if I do like this and I have 2 on 1, we haven't tried that either. So now we have 2 connected. Again, very hard to see now because the model is weird. There is no help and there is no indication. But to recap for the ones just joining in, these are the different queues. There is 5 queues in this one. So this is Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we connected both these cakes to Q1. Forget about this red one. I should never put it in here because now it's just confusing everybody. But really what will need to happen is that, because as you saw before, when the firing signal is sent, it consists of both a channel and a queue index. So what we could have is, haven't done it yet, but what I will do is to enable the channel switching here. So this box here could be listening on channel 2. So that will be channel 2, Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whereas this one would be channel 1, Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this way you can build up, even with a small number of queues, let's say 12 or whatever, you can just add a new channel number, and then you have 12 more. So anyway, but there's no channel setting now, so everything is listening on channel 1 right now. Let's save it first of all, so we can hopefully redo it in a moment. But this is connected to 1 now. So when I press 1, these 2 should go off together with this one, actually, because that's also connected to 1. And this one is connected to 6, so that won't go off. I thought there was 1 too. Okay, so when I'm pressing 1, I expect this rocket to fire off and these 2 to go off. Did I just predict that? I did. And then I can go away and I can press 6 to get these 2 in the sides go off. Ooh. And then we can just kill the rest. So it worked. And let's see if we can reload it. So come with more, Kel'Thuzar. Do you have more? On this one, let's do a I don't know, this one. Let's do kind of a, we can also combine the fuse system. So if we do the quick red fuse here, and then we take the middle one here and we connect it to, and now you start seeing how you can combine these things. So now I connect that to 5. So let's save again. So when I hit 5, this will trigger this one, which will then cascade out due to the red fuse here. So if I hit 5, nothing works. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Didn't we? It's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Oh. Maybe you broke it before, Kel'Thuzar, with your combining stuff. Something is broken now, at least. What about 1? Okay, so 1 works. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so specifically 5? What the what? Okay, wait a second. What about 3? What? Oh. Wait. No. It's that index thing again. So, okay, it's the index again. I'm So see, that's exactly okay. It's pretty crazy that I just tried to explain how things are working, and then I'm doing the exact opposite, or I'm doing it exactly wrong. Maybe I did it on purpose. Okay. So when I press 5, which is the highest number Q, so press 5 here, we get in here. So the Q index is 5. That's the Q index I want to trigger. That's fine. Then it says, okay, you should start to do that if that Q index is less than the maximum length of fuses, which is also fine, 5. Meaning this is false, right? Because 5 is not less than 5. So therefore we are not getting into this code here, and therefore 5 is not triggered. So it goes over that and nothing happens. Big brain. Okay. Let's try again. It's crazy. I think I did all the things you can do wrong with indexing here. I did all the stuff. So yeah, Elmo, I hope you learned something. So now the Q index here. So it's less blah blah blah, blah index and blah blah. But I hate this kind of -1 thing. I just don't know what. You have to fix it somewhere. Either you want to send the right Q index, the logical Q index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have to -1 when I'm actually triggering it, or I need to find it, or I should add 1 to the Q index coming in and then index via that. But yeah. So what am I actually doing here? So that's the Q index. But that's also a problem, right? Because okay. Okay, that's So which one am I saving? So I'm saying the Q. Which one? So the index. Okay, so it starts on 1. But that's okay. Yeah, it works. Of course, in the single one, it works fine because I'm not indexing into an array, and therefore the index is just the index. Small brain. That's another problem, by the way, Kildestar, something that I also have under to do. It's very annoying that, first of all, the blueprint doesn't contain any information about what mods are used. So I need to fix that at some point, so that when you save a show, it also saves which mod you are using. However, I cannot do that because I don't save that information runtime when loading in mods, yada yada yada, which is something I also need to do, which will then be used to show more info about fireworks in the inventory too. That's kind of also a new thing that will come in at some point, which will make some stuff easier and possible. But with that information, I can also save in a blueprint which mods are used, meaning I could essentially, maybe when I'm loading a mod, I could check if you have the mods that is needed, and if not, maybe I could load it in, maybe. But at least I could inform you what mods is used in the blueprint. Yeah, exactly. First, it doesn't automatically subscribe and download the mods in a blueprint, which is annoying really, because it makes it very hard to share the blueprint stuff, which again adds to another to-do on my long to-do list, which is the ability to share blueprints on Mod.io. That would also be nice. So people could download, different blueprints and, use each other's blueprints. Anyway, long list of to-dos. No, it's not it's typically not it's not a problem typically for the one creating the blueprint. because they often know which mods they default use, but it makes it hard to share the blueprints, and that's also why the sharing of blueprints is kind of it's hard to do. There's a lot of manual stuff to do. Anyway, let's see if 5 works now. Woohoo! Perfect. Okay, so that is good, because you can see basically with what we have now, the next step is to make a controller that can, if we want to have a timed show, all I need to do now, I say all because of course it's much more difficult than that, and it needs to be done so it's easy to use, yada yada yada. But now with this setup we have here, I should be able to do a controller that basically automatically, when you press play, triggers, let's say Q1, you set in a delay, 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds, trigger Q2, a delay, Q3, and so on. And that way you have a perfectly timed show. Because these electric fuses are actually different than the fast fuses. The fastest, the white fuses we have are really fast, but it says instant, but they are not really not correctly instant. They do take some time. It's very, very fast, so it's almost instant, where the electrical fuses work in another way, so they are actually instant. Anyway, so it works. Boom. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay. So now the logic is in place, and so now I need to go back and do the modeling a little better, so we can actually see the different cues. I don't know if it makes sense to have different, I don't think it makes sense. I can just have one, multi-cue receiver with, let's say, 12 cues, and then, if you need more, you just add more. But I of course need to add this, just as we have on the single receiver, we have a cue index we can change. I should basically also have that is hard coded to channel 1, so maybe there should be a channel switch on that too. But anyway, but I need a channel switch on the multi receiver, because when that is done, then we can scale it out. And then of course there needs to be a channel switch on the controller too. But all of these things are not really a problem. It's just a matter of doing it really. But I think I will. That's it for now. I think 1.5 hour stream, good progress. It actually starts to come together. It's not actually because this is super complicated to do, coding wise. It's not that complicated. I just haven't had that much time lately. I had a while ago. I had I have a lot of focus and a lot of time to make a lot of progress. Then I got sick over the weekend. I was kind of low on energy, and now I'm hopefully back. The challenge of this is actually making it work easy and intuitive and advanced enough that people can build advanced stuff. So, but anyway, so what are you saying? Blah blah blah. For now, just skip all fireworks that are not installed. Yeah, I would try and install all the things that is in the blueprint, and then a lot of them it just can't, because you can't find them. When can I test it out? Yeah, because you're on the private, you can actually test it out soon. But I think I will do the channel stuff before I can test it out, because else it's not really that different than what we have now. Because the next part is having a more complex controller. Right now there is only this one controller, with 1 to 9. And I cannot figure out if I should do. The thing is, okay, let's take that before we close. So the simplest controller is basically the one I have now, with a 1 to 9 button. there could be a channel switch, but anyway, that's the simplest one. But as we talked about last time, first of all, you either had to look at it and press the buttons, or you have to press the num 1 to 9 on your keyboard. That's kind of limited to only 9. So there also need to be a shortcut or button to switch channel, or switch or do kind of a paging so that it's first 1 to 9 and then after it's 10 to 18 or whatever. So we were talking about it having, because I saw some I think I saw some video, I have some saved videos for inspiration, and then there was a guy who actually built his own little firing system device in real life, but his system worked, or was it you, Keltosar, showing? I can't remember, but the point was that it was a lot simpler, because the controller there was basically just, it was 3 buttons, more or less. 1 to move to the next cue, and 1 to fire. And 1 to move back, really. But so it's just like fire, next cue, fire, next cue, fire, next cue. And this way you can actually do the same thing with just 2 buttons, or 3 if you want to go back, but typically you don't want to go back again. You want to, at some point you want to reset, but you don't want to go back while doing a firing show. So you can do it with less buttons, which is handy for, you know, button mapping and using it, but it's also really useful when we get to controller support, because you don't have 1 to 9 buttons on a controller. You only have like these, whatever, 8 buttons, 10 buttons, however. So I think it will be actually, right now it's mapped to 1 to 9, and I can do that as you just saw, but I don't think if we actually need that. I think you can also do like numpad 1 to 9 plus control plus numpad 1 to 9. Oh, no. Numpad 1 to 9. Yeah, but the problem is it only adds like 27. Then you only have 27, and it's a weird combination, and you will break your fingers. So it needs to work on controller too. So that's also why I'm actually making this more difficult for myself than it could be if I was only focusing on keyboard. But I know I want to put this on first of all, I want to do controller support for PC, because people also play with controls there. But I also want to put it on Switch, on Xbox and PlayStation in the future. So I kind of have to make it workable with a few buttons. But also on keyboard, I think that, you know, fire next thing could work. Let me show you something here. I think actually this one is actually it can work like that. So see here. So as I understand this one, this is the controller, by the way. So you have 1 to 10 cues here, and down here, as far as I understand, it's a plus and minus. So I think it works, and then there's an F for fire. So I think it works like, you know, when you aim it and kind of, maybe there's some kind of reset button to kind of reset to Q, or maybe you just click back, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so I think the point is that, you know, 1 glows up, you press fire, next, then 2 glows up, fire, plus fire, and that way you can get through, yeah, basically endless cues, right? And that only requires basically 2 buttons mapped. So, hello, Kraule. Kraule says in Danish, please write in English, by the way, Kraule. But he says he would low-key really want to make mods again. And I'm saying, what is holding you back? No, you should go for it. And I can say, Kraule, that there will be, but that will be for advanced users. But it's mainly for Panini and Gonako, I think, at this point. But if you haven't followed along, as I put in the last dev news, I am working on and have got it working, so we can start doing mods with network support. So modders can actually start doing network stuff. That would be really interesting. But I guess you are more for a normal modder type, which is totally fine. That's what we need most for, actually, to make fun stuff and fireworks and stuff like that. You should make some of the Danish one, Kraule, that we can get in T. Hansen and Harald Skral and all that. You're making me think too hard here. No. So yeah, Elmo, you can see, and that is kind of the challenge, you know, making games. There's a lot of things that, and people don't think about that, but there's a lot of things that goes into to making these things. And that's also why I can't just spit out features, because I only have this time after work. And now we are eating late dinner today, so that's why I had more time. Anyway, yeah, but please join. That's to everybody, but please join Elmo. You will learn stuff, and you can come with input on stuff. And I just spent 1.5 hours teaching everybody how not to use index in an array and do that stuff wrong. I think a button to change the line of triggers would be better when then you can have more. Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing. So right now this says 1 to 10, and then basically you could do it in two ways. You could have one button that change kind of the page. So plus 1 on page would change this to 11 to 20, and then 21 to 30, yada yada yada. But you could also just press plus, and when you get to 10 and you press plus, the light will switch to enable this one, and it would say 11, 12, and then you move on, and then this way you can skip your way through, and then maybe have one button called reset, which brings you back to Q1, so you don't have to click all the way back. But this is stuff, you know, I have to make and try out and see what works. And that's how I can already see that 1 to 9 thing with the keyboard and all that, it's not really scaling that well key combination wise. And that's why I think the thing about having key combinations to press like the plus and fire, that's a good idea, because you haven't tried it yet, but it actually feels pretty good pressing a physical button and then have things, you know, boom, blow up, especially if you crank up the volume. But it actually feels pretty good. So that physical button idea of triggering stuff, that's nice. That works really well. But right now it's limited in the way it's made, so I have to change it. Then you should low-key start making mods again. Yes, Kraule, get moving. Now I want to see what you do. Make some Danish stuff. There's not too much Danish stuff in there. They can without a numpad for some reason. So that's, yeah, exactly. You know, I think Amnesty is using these small keyboards, and my youngest son is also using one of these small keyboards. Laptops don't have most laptops don't have numpads. So exactly, that's why it needs to be another system too. Either two, or it needs to be replaced by another system. And I think actually I will replace it, because that 1 to 9, it's funny enough, but yeah, the fun stops after 9, right? So yeah, I don't know. It is cozy, Kraule, to make mods. Yeah. And you learn something. Especially when you make mistakes. That's where you really learn. Yeah. Keldosar, you haven't opened Unity at all before this, right? And you have made a lot of maps and fireworks. Yeah, we have keyboard bindings. I can show that also just before we go. For the hardcore ones that are still here, I can show you a thing or two. But still, with keyboard bindings, there's still a limit. You know, So that's why I have to figure out another way. I think it will end up, you know, when you're thinking coming from a controller, somehow if you want to have that, you know, next fire thingy without having to look at the controller, I have to do some kind of, you know, firing mode or firing system mode where you kind of get into a mode where the button means something else, and then you can do that. Because on a controller you cannot, you know, you cannot have everything at all times because there is only a little a small amount of buttons. But yes, we should have control support here. So the name here is always in the native language right now. I think I will replace it with some icons instead. So we have space and control and shift, and this is also called forward. It should be called movement instead. So you can rebind. So I can, for instance, this, and that is something I already rebind. The push to talk used to be C. So now I changed it to a mouse button. So now I can just click the mouse here. You can see the little, why can't you see that? Ah, it's because this behind this, wait a second. You can see it here. So when I click the button here, so that's rebinding. And you can rebind the other controls if you want to. So that's also coming in this version here. And here you actually have the firing system thing. I don't think I actually showed that before. So here you see the Q129. So that is all fine, but you know, I cannot make this list like 100 keys long. Yeah, any idea on how to make a theme part less creepy? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you made a lot of maps. Yep. Yeah, and your fire, I use your firecracker mod a lot. But you lost that, right? Isn't it something like you lost that the project or something? Because the firecrackers are really nice. But anyway, so you can see I'm kind of preparing for what I just said before. Here where we have a fire active queue, and active queue plus and active queue minus. So the idea is like you have numpad. Right now it's just bound to 0, numpad 0, and then you have plus and minus to go up and down. So that is, I haven't implemented that yet. I just, because when I was doing this these new control schemes for this, I just added these because I already knew at that point that we needed something like that. So I could, I think, but let's see, I won't remove it yet, but I think actually this down here will be removed, and then it will just be replaced by this, because this actually is scales much better than this one. The problem with this one is that you can't do this before. You didn't see that, but I did like just with my fingers to fire it off quickly. You cannot do that with this one because it will be, you can do kind of it, but you don't have to, because once we get to the controller that is timed, you can make it go by just having a, let's say, 0.2 second delay between the different cues. So anyway, show you one more funny thing. It's a modded character right now, but he looks kind of stupid with these teeth. Anyway, more about that later. But let's see. So I think somebody's coming home now. But yeah, that's it for now. I will be out. And since I have more fun doing maps and cars, I didn't really care so much on how I can fix it. I should still have them. I want to load them again. Something wasn't working right. Ah, okay. But if we need to update it at some point, if you have the project, I'm sure we can fix it. So please save the project, because the firecrackers are really good. Yeah. Anyway, I will go. See you. Thank you for joining. good progress today. Better progress today than last time, actually. Now the stream is all 18 above. Because somebody's coming home? No. She most likely scream at me in a moment why I haven't started on the dinner. But let's see. Anyway, I'm out. Thank you for joining. See you in the next one. Bye.